Good eve, fellow ghouls and ghoulettes, and thank you for joining us. This is Crit and Miss Role-Playing Games, the greatest gaming community since a group of disillusioned German children played noughts and crosses on the Berlin Wall. You are watching Beckoned Blackest Night, the sexiest Curse of Strahd actual play south of the Arctic Circle. I am joined as always by the most harrowing cast of D&D alumni, Jem, Grace, Dan, Mod, and Christian. How you doing, guys?
Good.
Very good. I'm excited to be alive.
Are you alive?
There is feedback. So much feedback.
There is. Where is that coming from? Who's got this running on the speaker? Anyone?
Oh, me. Yeah, that's me. Hang on.
Give me a second. That's okay. That's okay. We all have our moments. I don't know about you guys.
I'm so good you can hear me twice.
Yes, that's right. That's not feedback. That's just my poignant words echoing in your mind so that you don't forget them. I'm fired up. Last week's episode was a real doozy and ended up on another raging cliffhanger. Did you enjoy last week's episode, Grace?
Oh yeah, no, it was my favorite.
You were real quiet.
I think out of all the D&D episodes I've ever been in, that I have to say that's a standout.
I don't know what that says about your love for Dungeons and Dragons.
Is this better?
Yes.
Perfect. It sounds really good.
Okay, good, because I've got my AirPods in now and sound coming through my computer.
Fantastic. That works. That works.
Yeah. Cool.
Oh, man. I guess we could just move straight on to our banter topic. Get this out of the way so we can get straight into that raging cliffhanger that I was talking to just a moment ago. I just want to cram all of our sweaty bodies into the imagination sphere and just dive straight in, back into the episode. But the people, they want the banter. I've received thousands of emails saying that people come here for the banter, and every now and then they stay for the Dungeons and Dragons. It's the main course. We've got too much to get through today, so we're going to keep it nice and simple, nice and short. Especially, I know Christian loves the bant. So let's do this, shall we?
What is the band tonight? I actually missed tonight.
Yes. I didn't post it because I was too busy doing literally anything else. Tonight's banter topic. I want to know from you guys, who is the one individual who inspires rage in you? Is there anyone?
Oh my God.
Let's go across. I want to get people fired up for this episode because I'm fired up and I want you all on the same plane as me. So let's go across the board, but let's go the other way around. Let's start from right to left. Christian, apart from me, who gets you?
Mod mentioning Jess before, who's my partner in the background, is a great source of inspiration for this. She gave me a reminder to someone that I forgot that I hated with nearly my entirety of my body the other day when we were listening to music. I've got some people that make me frustrated, but it was only when going through her old high school playlist that I remembered the YouTuber Fred. I despise that chipmunk little bitch with all my life. He is so annoying. His voice is so annoying. His videos are so annoying, and I don't know how she likes him.
Fred!
Them's fighting words. Fred, if you're listening, call in. I want to hear from you, buddy.
I don't know how it got popular. Like, the little chipmunks are cute. He's just cringy as all shit.
Oh, you
Anyway.
just unlocked a memory in me that I forgot existed.
So did I. When she played the song and I suddenly had a Vietnam flashback.
You can hear the sounds of the halos overhead. Sound of
Instead, they were
rapid
just his
gunfire.
high-pitched voice singing Christmas songs.
And there's a chipmunk playing. I've never heard of Fred before, so I don't know what it is. But I'm gonna have to take a little bit of a deeper dive. because I want.
Mhm.
Have
Yeah,
you
have some
ever
fun
heard
with
of Annoying Orange?
Yep.
It is along the same vein as Annoying Orange.
Never heard of that either. To be absolutely honest with you, I thought Annoying Orange was a nickname for Donald Trump.
that. I mean,
Talking about people who piss us off.
Speaking of Donald Trump, Grace, who's someone that annoys you?
Shall I get the list?
Well, I just wait. Let's stick with one tonight. We can dive a little bit deeper next time.
Oh, damn it. What politician to pick is the question.
All of them?
I guess we'll start with David Crisafulli.
Okay.
Not a fan.
Oh yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
So for those people unfamiliar, please, for the international listeners or watchers,
Okay.
who is that? And for me,
He is a so he's the Premier of Queensland currently. And he is from the Liberal Party. He tried to defund Breast Cancer Australia because, apparently that's not important. And he has very ambiguous plans for female body autonomy that he refuses to share.
he's not a boob ally.
No, he's not a fan of breasts, apparently.
I
Just a
don't like that at all.
boobly. That's good. That's good.
A boobily.
It's a boobly.
He's a boobly.
Bet you didn't think I'd be a great jaboobily.
But yeah, no, not a fan.
Okay.
That's fair.
Sorry.
Democracy, ladies and gentlemen.
I like Stephen Miles.
made manifest.
Speaking of things that were
Chinese meal.
I can't even speak anymore. What was I saying? Mod, who do you hate?
Before we started this thing, I would have said no one. There isn't a single person in the world that induces rage in me. Christian just introduced me to Fred, and I just watched the entire video. Women. So Christian, I blame you for telling me this is a thing in reality, and you've induced rage in me for the first time in many, many years.
You're welcome. I'm glad we can bond over this.
Oh my god, that was so brain numbing. What the hell was that?
Right.
Oh god, I might have to pull out of tonight. Oh my god.
That
I'm so glad Discord cut most of that off.
that was peak comedy when I was growing up. That was
It was
Fred
not.
was the funniest
I
in the whole world. It was so funny.
It was our age's brain rot. That's what it was.
No. Fred was fucking hilarious.
Speaking of age, Dan, what inspires rage inside of you?
Well, when you first asked, I was like, nothing. But then I'm like, I know, I can really do better than that. So I've got a couple. First one's first, being an ice hockey fan. Basically the entire lineup of the Florida Panthers, they all suck. I hate them with passion.
Preach.
Sam Bennett is just a turtle who's just gets scared into his shell. He tries to be the toughest guy on the ice. But then also going back to this Fred conversation, is we've got a new wave of annoying for the sake of annoying that's brainwashing our kids, and that's Coco Melon.
Oh,
And that is the worst thing in the world. And if that's not producing Chinese sleeper agents, I don't know what would, but that is just the worst.
I thought you were going to go with Blippi.
Jess has
Blippy?
said that
Blippi or Blippi's past. How did Blippi actually be able to get to in front of kids with their past?
I have news, actually.
I like news.
Did everyone see that Mummy Pig is pregnant?
Is she?
Mummy Pig is pregnant.
Oh, how are Pepper and George?
Very excited. Very, very excited.
Oh wow, that's amazing. I love Peppa Pig.
I'm so happy for them. I'm sure they'll make lots of money out of merchandising.
They're
They
gonna
will.
Crazy.
go.
Well, I
They've
mean,
been going for like 14 years. Like, at
I don't blame
least.
them. Like, the Green Ranger was everyone's favorite and made lots of money, so life's good.
at
no
this
judgment.
point, I just assumed that Daddy Pig was shooting blanks, So,
This is true.
Is there a milk?
Daddy Pig? Oh,
There is.
no.
all right.
There is a milkman.
Speaking of milk people, Jem, who inspires rage in you?
Well, I was gonna say J.K. Rowling.
Yes, that's a good one.
Yeah, she has ruined a whole fandom for me in a lot of ways. I know she's an intelligent person and could probably broaden her views a little bit, but I know there's a lot of stuff going on where people are believing things that they see, and she might be a victim of that, but still it's not good. But I don't get rage with like internet celebrities or anything, but I do get rage over Norman from Fireman Sam.
Oh, Normie!
Oh, Norman! You set the whole town on fire again! That little kid. So, Grace, I don't know whether you've ever seen Fireman Sam. Have you seen it?
Not seen Simon Sam.
It's this British show that was around when we were kids, and it's still going. And there's this little ranger in the town who goes around and just lights everything on fire. And he's always getting other kids in trouble. He's burnt down like the local milk bar. Like, I watched a TikTok recently where there was like a house on fire and there was smoke coming out of the chimney that wouldn't be there. And they're like, oh, Norman, what did you do? Because and they've got this Pontypandy accent. But yeah, Norman, he's an absolute menace. Yeah. I'm going to send you some videos. Some people think he might be a terrorist with the amount of stuff that he does. And they also think that Sam might be his dad because he's the only other Ginge in town. And this guy clearly has daddy issues. So
Or it's the recessive. Somebody's just got a very recessive red hair.
I'm not buying it.
Or
Stop trying to
maybe
cover
he
it up.
knows it's his father and he's trying to get his attention by lighting fires.
By lighting-
closer.
maybe. But the problem is that this kid chose no
That's how I
remorse
met my
ever.
wife.
He will say, I'm so sorry, and then something will be on fire like 2 hours later.
Or is
It gets
like
actually
a-
really
He also
bad.
doesn't sound like he has any repercussions for his actions either.
No.
So how is he supposed to learn any of his lessons when he isn't being taught any?
Exactly.
If only he
Like,
had a parent around. Sam.
He does. His poor mother. Oh, they'll be like, oh, Norman, what's he done now? It's like, oh my God. Oh, you poor woman. So yeah, Norman from Fireman Sam.
Is it like a Footloose Ariel kind of situation where this child knows that his dad's a firefighter and he like lights fires purposely?
Could be, but he's been doing it since like the 80s or 90s. Like Fireman Sam was a thing when I was really little. So, and he's still around. They've like modernized it and changed the animation a little bit, but Norman is still doing the same thing.
Yeah, Norman's still setting
Without
shit
him,
on
there's
fire.
no show.
Yeah. It just felt like at some point they're like, you know what? Fuck it. I don't want to write any like new episodes. Let's just have Norman do everything.
Yeah.
People are like, there's kids watching this, right? No one's going to disseminate this too deeply. No one's going to think about it.
Yeah.
Fast forward 20 years, those kids are adults now, and we're reading a lot into
Yeah.
the things that you wrote.
I'm going to find a video of his worst things, and I think you'll appreciate how annoying he is.
So it sounds like the writers went to the Game of Thrones school of character development.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just do the same thing over and over again.
Game of
Don't really
Thrones
think about
show,
it.
yes.
Yeah.
Where
I
is
think
he? Norman
for me-
Price. Norman.
Oh, who was it? There was a show I used to watch. I can't remember what show it was. Oh, damn it. Because I grew up like on the cusp of classic Disney. So
Ah, yes.
yeah, so I was lucky enough to have like Kim Possible, That's So Raven, Wizards of Waverly Place, all of that stuff. So I loved Descendants.
Well, speaking of lazy writing, shall we get back to it?
My partner loves Descendants, although
I'm just looking up Norman's, like a supercut of Norman, but he's been around since 1987, everybody.
Oh, he's the same age as me. Coincidental? I think not.
I think not.
Oh,
Oh my
no.
god, Ben, you're a ranger too.
A thermonuclear warhead.
I was
I'm-
born a ginge, so I'm allowed to say things like that.
Excuse me, I am not ginger, thank you very much. I'm as blonde as the day is long.
Red.
I don't know.
Okay.
Couple of housekeeping things. Well, really one housekeeping thing I wanted to go over before we get started tonight. Have you guys been keeping track of items?
No.
Yes.
Yes.
No, yes, no, yes. Good. Make sure every time that I'm like, oh, you get this, we add it to your notes or whatever, so that we can keep track of stuff. Because I wouldn't want you to lose something that is important. Or maybe I do. Before we get started, there are a couple of other housekeeping things actually that I needed to mention before we launch in. As always, I'd like to thank tabletopaudio.com for all of the ambience. And I additionally tonight think Aeon Bar Cartography needs a little bit of a shout out for these amazing maps that we've been using. All of these are for free on their Patreon. So if you're thinking about running Curse of Strahd at home with your friends, enemies, randoms from the street, whatever it is, make sure you check out Aeon Cartography. I'll chuck a couple of links in the chat for those people who are doing the right thing and watching this on Twitch. There you go. Make sure you check those out. Tonight's episode is brought to you by a comment from our very own Saxy Aussie, who said, "You can't believe in the good things without the bad ones existing too." And I think there's a certain level of profoundness in that I really, really don't want to think about. And lastly, there is a content warning for tonight's episode. It may include elements that some viewers find disturbing, descriptions of graphic violence, horror themes, descriptions of child abuse, so on and so forth. If any of these cause you to experience stress and or anxiety, we recommend practicing caution while listening or watching this episode. Consider yourselves warned. We have our safety systems in place. I encourage you to do the same. Let's get into it, shall we? Who wants to play some
Yes, please.
Pathfinder or whatever this is?
Yes, please.
Yeah.
All right.
What do I do?
Pick me.
I don't want to get too bogged down by doing a lengthy recap tonight of what happened in the last episode, because if you want the details for that, you can go back and get all caught up in YouTube and then come back and watch this one. All you need to know right now is that our party of heroes, in parentheses, have been exploring a haunted house. They finally came across what appeared to be some kind of ghostly figure in a bedroom of the second floor, which reached into Fritz's chest, squeezed the life out of him, before falling back and disappearing through a full-length mirror built into the wall. Tane and Fritz, accompanied by Bright Eyes, pursued the creature through the secret door behind the mirror, entering a corridor leading upstairs to an attic, where the two of you investigated the sound of a woman crying. Meanwhile, Fujin, Bill, and Thana continued their investigation of the floor below. And that is exactly where we come back into it. As Fujin, Bill, and
Can I
Thana...
just highlight that Fritz consistently ends up in these positions at the start of an episode?
Yeah, that's true.
This is twice in a row now where it's like been a...
On her.
It's a
I don't know whether it's my fault, whether it's just the vibe.
spooky coincidence.
Could be.
I don't think there's no fault there.
If anyone's to blame, it's Fred from YouTube.
This
Oh,
is
Fred.
true.
Or Norman. No, it's Norman.
Or Christian for telling us about Fred.
Oh, Norman.
So we're jumping back in with the third floor gang.
Well, what I wanted to check in on first is while they were exploring that attic, you guys were down on the second floor. You did mention that you were pretty much done there and started heading up. So what I want to get from Christian, Grace, and Dan is your order. Who do you think would be going upstairs first?
I think at the end of last week, I think I said that I was going to peel off once I knew they were ready, so I'd be leading out of the three.
You would be leading. Okay, Bill.
Not that I want to, but I will just be like, okay, I'm gonna go get back up to Tane.
Okay. After that, would that be Thana and or Fujin?
Probably Thana then Fujin.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, so putting the cleric and the accountant up first. That's just smart. Smart gameplay.
Really?
Yes, it is. All
The
right.
cleric and the accountant.
You guys start heading upstairs. And like I said, there is a secret door built into a full-length mirror that leads into a, I want to say narrow, dark hallway with a very steep flight of stairs that goes up around 10 feet towards the east and then turns a corner and up another 10 feet or whatever it is to the north. It leads to a door. That doorway is open. Beyond that is a hallway. It is empty, but we are going to shoot back over to Tane, Bright Eyes, and Fritz. Now, Tane, I know you said you picked up the torch that Fritz was kicking along the floor. So you're currently holding a torch. You're standing over this, I want to say, simple, large iron-bound wooden chest. You'd pulled back the lid. Inside was this like bundle of rags. And the top of it is like stained like a dark brown color. And it's like, if you could imagine the bottom of the chest is just like full of these rags. And there's something inside of it. It's not moving or anything, but that's what you see. And you can hear that sobbing, that...
Yeah, carrying on from last week, I'll be like, it's all right. Don't be afraid of my appearance. All right. I'm just... And I reach in to pull away the material over the person that's sobbing.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I've got my shield over here. It's got the torch in there, and I just reach down my hand to help whoever it is out of the chest they're locked in.
All right, we'll cover that later, but for the time being, I'll say you reach down and you start to unravel these rags, or what are you doing?
Well, like if it's something on top of something, I'll pull the rags away. If it's like a clothing, I will lift it out or attempt to. Like, what am I looking at? Is it loose clothing or is it something I can pick up like a sack? Like, is it a material? What? I don't know how to interact with it.
Okay, so it looks like...
Can I just say, Fritz would grab the torch as well because you can use it as a blunt weapon. So you don't have to hold it. You can have your sword, Tane.
No. Yeah. Okay,
sure?
you can hold that, and I have a free hand now, so I'm going to reach in and feel around and see if I can lift it out of the chest, whatever it is.
Imagine it like a... you see like all these bits of furniture, they have these like heavy linen cloths draped over the top of them. It's exactly the same as that, but like it's like bundled up and then there's the stain on top. And I imagine we get a close-up of your hand reaching in, just sort of backlit by this flickering orange torchlight, and maybe, you know, it's reflected a little bit of the facets of your gauntlet as your fingertips brush up against this stained bundle of rags at the bottom of this chest. To your surprise, without warning, a bony spectral hand suddenly bursts from the rag, and at that moment the crying just stops. You instinctively start to like reel back, and this ghostly image of a woman, the same one that you saw down below on the second floor, begins to claw her way through the rags and out of the box, almost like she's trying to force herself through some kind of tear in reality. The empty eye sockets are ablaze with an unfiltered rage, not unlike the rage that Jem feels towards Norman. Roll for initiative. And I'll take you to the map.
Well, yeah, as it comes out, I go, oh, shit. Shit, fuck.
Professional improviser.
Is this like a surprise or anything?
No, I'm not going to say this is a surprise. You saw this. It knew you were coming. This is just going to be standard initiative. And as you guys can see as well, I've put Bill, Thana, and Fujin on their way up the stairs because I sort of imagine these two things happening somewhat simultaneously. And I'll bring up my combat tracker. All right, and I will
DM.
Unhide that.
I don't know how difficult it is, but could we have some of the lights from Thana? I'm guessing they would have been brought up with us, and currently I'm just blind on this map, but I'm hoping we still have the lights with us.
I'm going to say that I would imagine that Thana is maneuvering the lights up the stairs as well. So I'm going to go ahead, put one in the hallway, one still coming up the stairs, maybe another there and another on the stairs. Now, do keep in mind, Grace, you will need to use a bonus action to keep those lights moving. They need to stay within 20 feet of each other, so I think I might actually need to move one. No, they're okay where they are. Okay, everyone's rolled for initiative. I feel like I'm missing some people.
Back.
My God. Okay, so we got Tane, Fujin, Fritz. Let's go ahead, roll for Bright Eyes. Thana?
Yeah, it's rolling. It's just struggling.
I think we need to update your graphics processor. There we go. All right. Not unsurprisingly, this creature has rolled a natural 19, or not a natural 19, but an adjusted 19, which means it is first to act in this combat. Before I go ahead and do that, let's put on some sweet, sweet combat music. Let's get us all in that feeling of rage.
Can I just do a quick, if that was really loud, can I do a sound check just so I can turn my mic down?
It's okay
I'm going to ask, I'd yell out to Bill. Bill, can we swap initiative?
Yep.
Cool, thank you.
Right. Too loud? What?
No, you're good, mate.
All right.
It was just sudden, so I was like, whoa. Okay, all right. Swapping initiative with Fritz and Bill. Fujin, would you like to swap your initiative? I know you have this feat as well.
No, I think we're good where we are.
Yeah, good where you
does it
are.
matter? I just need to take 2 off my number. Does that matter? Because it's initiative?
Yes, that's correct. You do need to take 2 off there. So I'm going to go ahead and give Bill 4, which means he's actually going to go after Bright Eyes. There we go. Sorry about that, Bill.
Sorry.
Let's go.
And for those people listening or watching at home as well, we are using the new 2024 rules. So I have updated this creature to the new version. Whether or not that... Yes? What's up?
Sorry. It'll actually make movement so much cleaner. I'm going to swap me and Bill now.
Bill, would you like to do that?
Yep.
It's just cool with everything. Okay. All right, so going to swap.
It should be Bill moving, then Thana moving, then me moving, which means the staircase should essentially be perfectly organized.
All right. I'm going to share that image to the game log. That is the art from the new Monster Manual, which I think is fun, right? All right. back-to-back combat. This is the third episode where we've had a combat. Can I kill someone tonight? Let's find out, because this creature is going to attack someone. Who does it want to attack? Ooh, I don't know. Maybe Tane. But I think the thing it's going to do first is it might actually move to here, and that will probably provoke an attack of opportunity from Bright Eyes. So if you would like to roll an attack of opportunity from Bright Eyes, Gem,
Yep, so I'll go into extras, yeah.
Correct.
And then here. And then roll an attack roll, yeah?
Yes.
Yep. Okay. 17.
17 is a hit. Damn.
Yep.
Oh,
And
just
the
in case you can
damage?
get a natural 20, is Bright Eyes within 5 feet of an ally?
Yes, he is.
Perfect. Pack tactics. Just in case you get in that 20. You get advantage.
Okay, so do it again?
Yeah.
No.
Worth a try.
Worth a try though, yeah. So he got 7 bite damage.
I'm actually thinking about this now. I think what I would like to do... Sorry, I just opened the
Is
start
make me
block
do
and
an
I'm
animal
starting to read it
handling
now.
check, or?
No, what I would like to do is... Yes, I would say you would probably need to command Bright Eyes to make an attack, though you did tell it to attack the same thing on the floor below. But instead of moving from the spot it was in directly towards the southeast, I'm going to say it moves into Tane Nui, passing through his body, and then steps towards the south, thus negating that attack of opportunity. Because I don't think it can take an attack of opportunity if it's inside of Tane Nui. So that's what it's going to do. And then it is going to make a attack against you, Tane. All right. You do have a high AC, so not good. Not a good roll. A 6. So that's going to be a miss. Which brings us to Tane. It's your turn. This creature tries to reach inside your chest, not unlike what it did to Fritz mere moments ago.
Yeah, I'm going to give its hand a bit of a parry with the shield, and I'll step to the side down here. And as I go past, I'll pull out my longsword and do a bit of an upward slice.
All right, making an attack here against my creature. Okay, roll that to hit.
That will be a 13 to hit.
A 13 to hit is, let me just check my creature's AC. That's a hit.
Hooray! And the crowd rejoices.
Woo-woo!
Team, there's a ghost. That'll be 7 slashing damage.
Right, 7 points of slashing damage. Let's have a look here. Okay, all right. Not all of that goes through, but you have hit it. Okay. Anything else you want to do?
No.
Okay, all right, moving right along. Fritz, you see this skeletally thin image of this semi-translucent woman. And when it moves, it's almost like it phases. Like for a moment, you feel like you can see some of the facial features, and then it moves, and it's just like a skull, and then it moves a little bit more, and you can see some like loose flesh.
She sounds hot.
Yeah, I mean... You can ask for a number. That'll be an action if you want.
No. Fritz is a bit pissed off because he's already had one of them inside him. Tonight, whatever. So Fritz is actually going to cast. I want to clarify before I say anything. Actually, does Bright Eyes know that this is an enemy from last time?
I'm not sure if you'll be able to tell from Bright Eyes if it's the same enemy. Why don't you give me I'm going to say maybe just a perception check to see if it's the same thing or not. As this.
Is this an action though?
No, I'll let you do this one for free. I know if you want to roll it too, you can.
Something else. So that is 15. So
yeah,
I'll take 2 away.
That's high enough. You take a moment to sort of take in what's happening around you, and for a moment you can see the image like start to manifest a little bit more. Like I said, it's like almost like it's phasing in and out of like different moments of this thing's life, and for a second you can see that tattered maid outfit, sort of the tatters sort of floating on the air as if she's underwater and then like dissipating into smoke, and you can see that it's the same ghostly figure as the one that went all up inside you downstairs.
Yeah,
Like
so
an
I'd
eel.
assume that Night Eyes would understand that this is an enemy, so I probably don't have to command him. I'm going to yell out to Thana, is this thing evil? Can we help it? Before I run towards it. Because I'm still not sure about the dead or what it means as Fritz.
Thana, you're yet to see it.
Okay. Right.
Yes.
Basically, you're our undead expert, so I guess Fritz would be asking, like, should I attack? Or, like, can you help it? And you probably say I haven't seen it. So
Is it trying to kill you?
Yes, it's trying to kill me. Kill this thing, Fritz.
All right. Well, then Fritz is going to cast Hunter's Mark.
Casting Hunter's Mark.
Yep. And then he's going to hit it with his short sword.
Okay, so casting Hunter's Mark is a bonus action. Then you're going to move.
Yep.
I'm going to say
He's going to go within 5 feet of both Tane and Bright Eyes. He's going to roll to hit. Is that correct?
correct.
And I get to do it twice because I'm within 5 feet. Pack tactics.
Ooh, I believe with pack tactics, Bright Eyes needs to be within 5 feet of the creature. Let's have a look here. Pack tactics. The wolf has
Yes,
advantage on
you're
attack
correct, that's
rolls against the
correct.
creature if at least one of the wolf's
Yep.
allies.
Yep.
And that only
Yep, so
counts
I don't
for
get that.
Bright Eyes. Yes.
Yes. So I only got a 9. So I
A
don't think I'm gonna do
9,
anything.
unfortunately, is not enough, and your sword passes through the ethereal woman's body, and I imagine comes away with these wisps of ectoplasm still stuck to your sword. You can hear the sounds of bones cracking, even though this thing is not made up of physical matter, and the bony head turns towards you and the mouth begins to open up again, much larger than a normal person's mouth should open, and inside it's almost as if you're gazing into the blackness between stars itself. Bill, what do you do?
So he takes a couple of steps up to the top of the landing, and Tane, did you say something about a ghost?
Yeah. In here.
And
Come cast the fireball.
they're in here, right?
They are in a room, so if you follow the northern wall along, that is correct. You'd be able to see the light from the torch coming through the doorway. You get to there, you can see bright light of the torch. You can see all of this furniture draped in these heavy white linen cloths. You see Bright Eyes, Fritz standing just beyond Bright Eyes, and beyond that, the creature.
Right. Cast a spell. Stab it with a goddamn pen. I don't mind.
So Bill's gonna pull out from his satchel his trusty letter opener that he uses on all his good accounting cases, and he's going to try and throw it at this thing.
Trying to throw it at the creature. Okay, launching a letter opener at it. And the creature goes, "Oh, my one weakness, tiny letter openers," and crumbles into dust.
The 17 hit.
Yes, a 17 does hit. It's bright light, so it's no problem there. Yep, okay, 17 does hit. Talk to me about damage. 5 points of damage?
5 damage.
And that is piercing damage.
It's piercing. It is a non-magical letter opener, though.
Non-magical
If that matters.
letter opener. It might matter. It might matter. Let me have a look here. It does matter. Okay, so not all of that goes through. I'm going to say the dagger goes through the creature, but as it passes through its body, you can hear it impact with something, and the creature recoils slightly from that, but it is still alive. Well, if you can call it alive.
Tony, did you see that? I think I heard it.
I knew it. I knew you had it in you. That was amazing.
And that will be my turn.
Okay, moving right along. Thana, you are yet to see any real evidence of a haunting apart from an animated broom. What do you do?
Let me look. I'm looking. And it won't let me zoom in. Love that for me. I'll head up the stairs if it'll. Oh my gosh! Stop tapping. Thank you. I'll head up the stairs and try and find the ghosty, if that's all right.
Yeah, so 15, 20, 25, 30. Ooh, yeah, I'm going to say you can get to that spot right in front of the door just with your normal movement. So to this location.
Yeah, that works. How much am I seeing?
When you're there, you can see, again, same thing that I described to Bill. It might be hard for you to really see any details of this creature because you've got now Bright Eyes Bill and Fritz in the room. You've got all this furniture. It's casting these weird shadows, but you do see some, like, of that ethereal, like, almost like condensation. And maybe a bony hand sort of reaching out, trying to grasp towards Tane.
Okay. She is going to cast. Let me have a look. I'm thinking.
This is going to be a spell that you have in your spell list, this one?
I'm going to cast Toll of the Dead. I do have the in my spell list. Thank you very much.
All right.
You point at one creature you can see within range, and a single chime of dolorous bells inaudible within 10 feet of the target. The target must succeed on a wisdom saving throw or take 1d8 necrotic damage.
All right. So wisdom saving throw. Let's roll that. And the DC is... What was it?
I think it's just on my proficiency.
Should be on your character sheet. So if you go to your spells, it should say spell save DC somewhere there. I'm going to go ahead and guess it's about 13, 14, something like that.
Yeah, it's 13.
Yeah, okay. So it fails on its wisdom save.
Yay.
So roll some damage for that one for us.
Add 1d12 if it's already missing some hit points. Which it is.
Oh, it's 1d12.
1d8. It's a little buff. Toll the dead if they've taken damage before it goes up to d12. Very good spell. For who the bell tolls.
That is 7.
7 points of necrotic damage, was it?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Very, very good. Is there anything else that you would like to do on your turn? Would you like to use your bonus action potentially to move the dancing lights, anything like that? You can. It is bright light in this room from that torch, so it's probably not necessary, but...
Can I use my bonus action to see if it's dead?
I mean, you can still see it moving. Oh, you mean like as in, is this an undead creature?
Yes.
You can use your bonus action to make a religion check.
Yay.
That's
Thank
it. I
you
never
for
give you
being
anything.
kind to me.
Every now and then. Just don't get used to it.
Guys, Sven is just the most amazing, sweetest DM in the whole world. And he just, honestly, I love Sven. He's a slay.
They're ruining my reputation. I can cut that out in post. With a 7 on that religion check.
Oh no, that was the other one.
That was the damage. 14. Yes, that is finally someone does a knowledge check that is higher than 7 or 6. Fantastic. I will give you. I can tell you what this creature is. And I can give you one piece of additional information. You tell me what you want to know. I can tell you speed. I can tell you resistances or immunities. I can tell you its senses, or I can tell you what actions it can do.
Thana would say that again. I don't understand you.
Resistances and immunities.
Yeah, I was gonna say that anyway. Jesus, are you a little faith? Yeah, Thana would probably want to know its resistances and immunities.
All right, I can tell you that. First off, this maybe I don't know where you get this information from. Maybe it's like part of your study from your time in the church or whatever it is. This is a thing known as a specter. Now, a specter differs from a ghost in that a ghost is a spirit, and the circumstances of their death have left them either unaware that they've died, or there's something that needs to be done for them in order for their souls to be able to pass on. But a specter is different. A specter is a spirit who has died in rage, and their anger and their rage has taken their soul and stitched it back together and basically forced it back into the material plane. There is no negotiating, there is no satiating, there is no speaking to a specter, and that's how it differs from a ghost. It only wants to destroy. It has no other purpose, no other desire other than to hurt. And large parts of its personality are gone, except for that rage that it had in its heart when it died. And as far as immunities and resistances are concerned, let's start with, normally I would just say either resistances or immunities, but I'm going to go ahead and just tell you these. It is resistant to acid, bludgeoning, cold, fire, lightning, piercing, slashing, and thunder damage.
Can you please repeat that?
It is resistant to, so it's only going to take half damage from acid, bludgeoning, cold, fire, lightning, slashing, and thunder damage. I wish I could copy paste that for you, but I can't.
And one more time.
Backwards if possible.
Let me see if I pop that out. Can I? No, I can't. Okay, so
You're fine.
all right, moving on. It's also resistant to Christian's bullshit. Well, that's really specific.
Yeah, wow.
Oh, I didn't hear immune.
Which is it's only going to take half
Go to
damage.
town, Christian.
Unfortunately, I'm not
I'm
resistant, and I'm taking full damage from that nonsense. Damage immunities, necrotic, and poison.
Oh, so my little thing did nothing.
That's correct.
Yay.
But hey, at least you know now.
Cool.
So moving on, it is Bright Eye's turn. I'm going to roll a check for Bright Eyes here just to find out what he's actually going to do. I think it's fair. I'm going to say it's let's go with the...
If I had have known that, I would have
intelligence.
used my action to ask him to do it. To be fair.
Doesn't he require an action this entire time? Isn't it?
Yeah,
Rules?
Sven did say earlier that because we fought it before, it would understand to fight it. So I'm not sure where we're
He'd be
standing
angry
that.
with it, but he might just be like growling and being defensive, not throwing his life away.
Yeah, I would say I was a little bit vague with that when I said that. I should have mentioned that he'll take attack of opportunity, but probably not try and move to attack. So I'm not going to hold you to account for that. I will say, with the positioning where everyone's in, it might be difficult for Bright Eyes to get into a position where he can actually make an attack. I can move him into the square directly to the west of the creature. He will be squeezing in that square. Is he small or is he medium? Let's have a look here. He is considered to be medium. So I would say he's probably going to be squeezing in that square. So it's up to you. Would you like me to move him there and make an attack, or would you like him to stay?
Yeah, he would do that.
All right. So moving...
He's already seen Fritz be attacked tonight by one of those creatures, and yeah, it's not very good.
Moving to that position there, making an attack and making that at disadvantage due to the...
Does advantage cancel it out? of tactics?
Yes, it would. You are correct. So just making a standard roll there. Oh, are you rolling it?
Yeah, I'll roll it. I've got it ready.
Okay.
So if I sound grumpy, I'm migrainey. It's a 10, so probably not.
A 10 on that roll. That is a miss, unfortunately. So no extra damage from Bright Eyes. I'm going to say Bright Eyes will probably continue to attack this thing until it's commanded to do otherwise.
Did Bright Eyes get pack tactics?
Yes. So he was
he
squeezing.
negated the disadvantage. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh,
in between
I was,
all of this furniture, and then
I was unfocused, sorry.
please do better next time. Speaking of doing better, Fujin, it's your turn. What do you want to do?
Up the stairs, 5, 10, 15. Now, I do know that everyone's just sprinted ahead of me and can probably even see like the congestion that's forming at that doorway. So I'm of one of two minds for what to do next.
That's one mind too many.
Now, Fujin's going to keep it simple with aggression. There was a thought of maybe waiting here in case it tries to go through the wall and like holding an attack action, but that's too much
What are you holding up, Mod?
Fujin is going to 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, and then take a dash action, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. So running to the hallway, slipping past Thana, and then springing up onto whatever piece of furniture is here, this cupboard or shelf or whatever it is. And then from there, doing a bit of like another... I guess this is like a sweeping leg kick, which obviously up on the furniture is probably going to go through like the head of the creature. And I'm going to use that with my bonus action, my unarmed monk attack.
Before you roll that one, I'll get you to roll an athletics check because I think this is a pretty high piece of furniture.
Acrobatics, because I'm like leaping and vaulting onto it.
I'm thinking athletics for like jumping and stuff like that. I'll let you make a case for acrobatics.
Balancing onto it.
I'll allow an acrobatics if that difference matters to you.
It does immensely.
Should take that back. Only athletics.
It's a 27. I'm balancing on the thing, doing like this kick. It's not strenuous muscle activity. So 27. I'm hoping is fine. And yeah, I'll come in for the leg kick.
Ooh, DC 28. Ugh.
That is a lovely 24 to hit. And that'll be 1d6 plus another d6 of sneak attack as we have some friendos within range. So
Well,
Bang.
are they your friends? Should we establish that first? Hands up if you feel like Fujin's your friend. Or more like a...
I'm going to use
okay.
Savage Attacker on the sneak attack, which only got a 2, for a 3 instead. So we have 8 points plus 4, 12 points of damage with this kick as I sort of sweep through a large section of the mist that makes up its body after springing into the room. And try to, kick through its chest with my leg.
All right. Your...
Does acrobatics 27 make it a magical attack?
Well, he's a monk. Does he have magic hands yet?
What, level 1? No.
Actually, Christian is a fully trained massage therapist, so yes. Dig in,
Actually,
ladies.
I am eventually going to be going the mercy hand, so I will be able to heal people with my punches in game. So it's turning realistic.
If you want, you can heal the creature. I'll allow you to do that now. We'll say this is the first time you've discovered this new skill.
No,
That is
this
very kind of you.
I know.
If we can level up.
brutality.
I give and give and give and give and give. No, but one thing that I will actually, I just noticed about the 2024 stat blocks is not actually much changed with the Spectre, except it no longer says in resistances acid, bludgeoning, cold, fire, lightning, piercing, slashing, thunder. It does not say magic passes through that. So unless that's incorporated in a different rule somewhere, is that a thing? It just says it's resistant to it. It used to say resistance to piercing, slashing from non-magical attacks. It no longer says that. It just says damage resistance, acid, bludgeoning,
they
cold,
got rid of
fire,
that,
lightning, piercing, slashing, thunder.
Might just be for ghosty creatures now, which honestly I prefer.
I like that. I was thinking I got done dirty by the new 2024 rules, but I'm starting to coming around on this one. Okay, a solid hit. The creature, its form is starting now. Like I said, when it's moving, it's passing through these different phases. It's got a face, then it's no face. Its hands go from fully formed hands to just these bones, and when your heel passes through it, it lets out this ear-piercing screech, and a lot of its form begins to fade away, and you can tell that this thing is on its last legs. If only it needed legs. But it's not dead yet, unless there's anything else you can do. We're coming up to the top of round 2.
That's movement, action, bonus action.
All right, so I've got, I think, probably one last chance to do some damage here. Who do I want to attack? I'm going to attack. Oh, let's go with Fritz. You tell me.
I'm waiting for it. I'm leaning to the mic.
Could you roll that with disadvantage, please?
All right, and why am
Protection,
I?
baby.
Oh.
Put that shield in.
All right, rolling that with disadvantage.
You're getting hit by the gangbang squad again.
Is that name still up for discussion? Or?
No, that's locked in.
Can I make an argument as well for something?
No, Gangbang Squad is locked in. I'm sorry.
It's good. I
Lock
like
in
that.
A for Gangbang Squad, Eddie.
Well, someone put that in the chat so we don't forget that. Now, in terms of interception, I can see myself.
Yes, you can. I was actually going to say you are possibly one of the worst people to attack with this, because not only do they get disadvantage from longsword sap and
Hold
this
on.
reaction, but then
I think
Fred
interception.
is not happy.
Interception's only on other creatures, I think.
It says when
my
a creature
one
you can
included
see
that.
hits another creature within 5 feet,
Another creature.
and I can see myself.
Another creature.
I'm gonna go.
God
Yeah.
damn it!
The spirit of this is meant to be a creature other than you, and I think they should probably change the wording for that.
No, that's okay. I didn't read the another. That's my fault.
Yes, yes. No, that's okay. It's okay. You need all the help you can get here, so I don't mind asking these questions. But yes, it does actually hit you even with disadvantage, as it rolled a 13. So one juicy hit here, with its life drain. You are going to take. Oh, come on. come on with these rolls. 4 points of necrotic damage. And in addition to that, your hit point maximum is reduced by 4 points.
There's no con save now?
No.
But they do take off a dice of damage, so it balances out.
How dare you
Hang on.
reveal
So,
my secrets?
Permanently reduced, or what?
I read the monster manual, sorry.
Bit of a weird wording here. It just says you take the necrotic damage, and if the target is a creature, which I'm sure you are, its hit point maximum is decreased by an amount equal to the damage taken. Now, I do know in the previous stat block it said until you take a long rest. Does not say this here. In fact, it doesn't say anywhere when you get that back.
So what do we do with that then?
For the time being, I'm just going to say it'll come back with a long rest.
Okay, we'll look into it.
Yeah, probably.
And there's nothing I can do, is there? I just have to cop it, yeah?
Yes, you just take that damage.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, so that's its attack done. Doesn't have anything else it can do at this point. If it moves anywhere, it's going to take 7,000 attacks of opportunity. So, Tane, you are up.
Yes. I would like to use the little-known ability that only paladins have called Slash. I say, right, let's go. Actually, can I do some sort of shield thing to give people advantage? Is that a thing? Yeah, I'm going to use the help action to push the ghost sort of towards the group, sort of hold it still.
Okay. And the help action, is that something that you have to give to a specific person, right?
I think you help a person with their attack rather than just attacks against the creature.
Yes. So if you want to use the help action, you can do so, but you have to declare who you're trying to help.
Yeah, Fritz.
Fritz?
So now, Fritz, go.
Okay, so trying to force the creature back with your shield, and imagine your holy symbol that would be on your shield. Is that emblazoned on there?
Yes.
And what is that?
Well, technically, it's not a holy symbol at the moment. It's just a symbol of my family, which is a empty scroll.
An empty scroll. Okay, pushing
Story
the
yet to be told.
spectre back towards Fritz, going,
Go.
take Fritz, take him. Okay, Fritz, you are up. What would you like to do? Again, you've been...
Fritz, yeah. Well, Fritz is going to try and hit. Do I have disadvantage or anything? I don't.
No, in fact, you have advantage now. Do keep in mind that you are holding a torch in one hand, so if you want to make a bonus
I'm
action
going to use
attack.
that for bludgeoning.
All right.
Yeah. So I'm going to hit with my try to hit with my short sword.
Mm-hmm. Rolling with advantage.
That's not good.
You got this. You got this, Fritz. There we go.
16.
How do you kill this creature?
Really?
Yay.
Oh, yay. I'm going to take my short sword and pierce it through its eyes that don't exist and be like, stop looking at me, because he's over it. So he's going to hit them. And do 4 plus 2. Do I need to add that up? Do I need to add a hunter's mark?
This thing had 2 hit points left. It doesn't matter what you
Okay.
roll. You're going to kill it. So
Okay.
I just want you to narratively describe how do you think in your headcanon it looks as Fritz drives the final blow into this creature?
Well, he's still really tired and grumpy. He so far has had exhaustion. He's been in how many fights now? 3. He's a young man who's hungry, tired, over it. And so he just sort of stuffs this thing in the eye and is like, be at peace, and just goes and sits down, because he's just like, and he's like, can we have a long rest? Please. Is there anywhere in this house that's safe? And I can imagine there's not.
I feel like your sword would pierce straight through the creature as it dissolves into this, it looks almost liquidy pile of ectoplasm on the ground, and goes straight through and clangs off Tane's shield. And then the rest of that stuff happens as the creature perishes. And as that happens, Thana, as it's vanquished and its form begins to untangle before your eyes, you feel something. You specifically. Almost like a metaphysical energy that brushes up against the extremities of your soul. It's like a fleeting feeling, like something momentarily filling an emptiness that's been growing ever since you passed to the gates of Barovia, and as quickly as it comes, it disappears. And all you're left with is more questions than answers. The creature dies. What do you do?
Tane's going to pick up the letter opener and have a quick look at it as he walks over to William and says, William, that was absolutely fan-fucking-tastic. Flips it over, catches it and hands you.
Kind of threw it and it hit it. It was quite riveting, really, actually.
Right through the eyes. Beautiful shot. Thana, can you have a look in this thing here? I'm going to walk over to the chest. I said, there's something in here. This is where it came out of, and I'm going to pull the material out of the box.
Yeah, you reach in, you pull out those like bundle of rags, and as you pull it out, something clatters down to the floor. And you look down and you can see it's like a thigh bone. And you start to unwrap this bundle, and inside you find what appears to be the skeletal humanoid remains.
Thana is like not even paying attention. She's like literally like space cadet. Not here. Off in the distance. Disassociated.
All right, well, this doesn't seem like a nice place for someone to be buried, so maybe later on, and I'm going to wrap up the bones in the rag and just tie it off and throw it over the shoulders.
And thinking back to Thana, what you learnt from your religion check earlier, you know that burying this thing, it's not going to make any difference. The only way to get rid of a spectre is to destroy it, and you feel like you've done that.
Okay. She walks up to Tane and she sort of takes the pile of Tane and she's like, the spirit is at rest. It all is well. Even burying the bones won't make a difference. Just leave it.
Yeah, fair enough.
I don't know about any of you, but when I was walking in here, that door has a lock on it. I'm gonna go back into the hallway. The fuck's up with that?
What's the deal with this lock? Yeah.
While he's doing that, can I do is that a window at the south end of the room?
It is, yes.
Can I, just as he's walking out, because I do want to go follow him, I just want to have a glance out the window and sort of see what's going on outside.
Yeah, okay. You walk over towards the window, you have a little bit of a look outside. Everything is covered in dust, cobwebs, dark, dim. Only very few slivers of light passing through the moth-eaten curtains that drape over this window. You pull them aside, and they sort of fall apart in your hands. And looking out of the window, you can see what appears to be a very, very simplistic 10 by 10 foot square balcony that's sort of overlooks the front of the house. And thinking about it, you can sort of imagine it is over the top of the portico, so right over the front gate of the house.
Oh, William. Where's me bloody horse?
You want to take a look outside?
Yeah. I guess it's happening at the same time as Christian's thing. I'll be with you in a sec.
Yeah,
I'm just gonna
roll
go outside.
a perception check if you want to have a look outside the window, see what you can see.
A mighty 7.
A mighty 7. You can see a horse still out there. There it is. Pew. Still tied to the post. It's sort
never
of
mind.
eating some
There
grass.
it is. All right, fair enough. And I head back in. Head back out to the room. Give everyone a nod on the way out.
And I think that'll be a good spot to go for a quick break. Unfortunately, we didn't manage to record a new episode of Spooky Story Time with Pumpkin Gemma this week. So you're going to have to make do with Tentacle Story Time with me. I'm going to be reading from some of H.P. Lovecraft's collected works. Stick with us. We'll be going for 10 minutes. When we come back, we're going to keep exploring this haunted house and find out whether or not Fritz will get his long rest or not. We'll be right back, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, hi there. Didn't see you come in. I was just reading some of these stories from H.P. Lovecraft. Why don't you join me? Today I'm going to be reading some of the collected short works called Stories of the Dreamlands. Let's get started, shall we? Chapter 1. Polaris. Into the north window of my chamber glows the pole star with uncanny light. All through the long hellish hours of blackness it shines there. And in the autumn of the year, when the winds from the north curse and whine, and the red-leaved trees of the swamp mutter things to one another in the small hours of the morning, under the horned, waning moon, I sit by the casement and watch that star. Down from the heights reels the glittering Cassiopeia as the hours wear on, while Charles Wayne lumbers up from behind the vapor-soaked swamp trees that sway in the night wind. Just before dawn, Arcturus winks ruddily from above the cemetery on the low hillock. And Coma Berenices shimmers weirdly afar, off in the mysterious east. But still the pole star leans down from the same place in the black vault, winking hideously like an insane watching eye that strives to convey some strange message, yet recalls nothing, save that it once had a message to convey. Sometimes, when it is cloudy, I can sleep. Well do I remember the night of the great aurora, when over the swamp played the shocking coruscations of the demon light. After the beams came clouds, and then I slept. And it was under a horned waning moon that I saw the city for the first time. Still and somnolent did I lie, on a strange plateau in a hollow betwixt strange peaks, of ghastly marble, where its walls and its towers, its columns, domes and pavements. In the marble streets were marble pillars, the upper parts of which were carven into the images of grave bearded men. The air was warm and stirred not, and overhead, scarce 10 degrees from the zenith, glowed that watching pole star. Long did I gaze on the city, but the day came not. When the red Aldebaran, which blinked low in the sky but never set, had crawled a quarter of the way around the horizon, I saw light and motion in the houses and the streets. Why would there be motion in the streets? Trees. Forms strangely robed, but at once noble and familiar, walked abroad, and under the horned, waning moon men talked wisdom in a tongue which I understood, though it was unlike any language I had ever known. And when the red Aldebaran had crawled half the way around the horizon, there were again darkness and silence. When I awaked, I was not as I had been. Upon my memory was graven the vision of the city, and within my soul had arisen another and vaguer recollection, of whose nature I was not certain. Therefore, on the cloudy nights when I could sleep, I saw the city often, sometimes under that horned, waning moon, and sometimes under the hot yellow rays of a sun which did not set, but which wheeled low on the horizon. And on the clear nights the pole star leered as ever before. I think this is references to Carcosa, which is a city first referenced in Robert W. Chambers' collection of short stories titled The King in Yellow, which we might read sometime in the future. One of my favorite books, mind you. Gradually I came to wonder what might be my place in that city on the strange plateau betwixt strange peaks. At first content to view the scene as an all-observant, uncorporeal presence, I now desired to define my relation to it, and to speak my mind amongst the grave men who conversed each day in the public squares. I said to myself, this is no dream. Or by what means can I prove the greater reality of that other life, in the house of stone and bricks south of the sinister swamp and the cemetery on the low hillock, where the pole star peers into my north window each night? One night, as I listened to the discourse in the large square containing many statues, I felt a change, and perceived that I had, at last, a bodily form. Nor was I a stranger in the streets of Alathoe, which lies on the plateau of Sarkis betwixt the peaks of Noton and Cadifanek. A lot of strange words to pronounce. Alien words. It was my friend Alos who spoke, and his speech was one that pleased my soul. For it was the speech of a true man and patriot. That night had the news come of Dacos' fall, and of the advance of the Inutos, squat hellish yellow fiends who 5 years ago had appeared out of the unknown west to ravage the confines of our kingdom, and finally to besiege our towns. Having taken the fortified places at the foot of the mountains, their way now lay open to the plateau, unless every citizen could resist with the strength of 10 men. For the squat creatures were mighty in the arts of war, and knew not the scruples of honour, which held back our tall, grey-eyed men of Lomar from ruthless conquest. Alos, my friend, was a commander of all the forces on the plateau, and in him lay the last hope of our country. On this occasion he spoke of the perils to be faced, and exalted the men of Alathoe, bravest of the Lomarians, to sustain the traditions of our ancestors, who, when forced to move southward from Zobna before the advance of the great ice sheet, even as our descendants must some day flee from the land of Lomar, valiantly and victoriously swept aside the hairy, long-armed cannibal Nofkes that stood in their way. To me, Alos denied a warrior's part, for I was feeble and given to strange faintings when subjected to stress and hardships. But my eyes were the keenest in the city, despite the long hours I gave each day to the study of the narcotic manuscripts and the wisdom of the Zobnarian fathers. So my friends, desiring not to doom me to inaction, rewarded me with a duty which was second to nothing in importance. To the watchtower of Thapnan he sent me, there to serve as the eyes of our army. Should the Inutos attempt to gain the citadel by the narrow pass behind the Peak Noton, and thereby surprise the garrison, I was to give the signal of fire, which would warn the waiting soldiers and save the town from imminent disaster. Alone I mounted the tower, for every man of stout body was needed in the passes below, and my brain was sore and dazed with excitement and fatigue, for I had not slept in many days. Yet my purpose was firm, for I loved my native land of Lamar, and the marble city of Alothaway that lies betwixt the peaks of Noton and Cadifonek. I think that'll be enough for tonight. This story is interesting because it blurs the lines between the real and the imagined. Those long dark shadows that grow longer still as we near the dreamlands ourselves and our imagination starts to take over. Hope you all enjoyed this story. Make sure you join us again next week for more stories from the Dreamlands by H.P. Lovecraft. And now, on to more Beckoned Blackest Night. And we're back. Thanks for sticking with us, ladies and gentlemen. I appreciate your loyalty. But then again, after all, this is the greatest Curse of Strahd actual play live stream in the entire world. So really, I expect nothing less. Shout out to Saxtiosi, shout out to Sweet Pea in the chat. Thanks for joining us as always. It's great to have you here with us as we explore the bleak and desolate world of Barovia. I was just thinking before we went live with this one, this might be the first Curse of Strahd actual play on the internet using the 2024 rules and monsters. So we're breaking new ground. We're trendsetters, as it were. Anyone who does this after this is really just a pale imitation of us. So that's something you can take to your respective graves. You've killed the spectre. It is gone. Fujin, you left the room, not waiting to hear other people's opinions, as always. And you've moved towards the door on which you found a heavy iron padlock in the previous episode. What do you guys want to do?
Running past everyone with my passive perception, it's just instantly jumped out as... Look, I don't think it might be odd for Fujin. It might not be odd seeing a padlock on the house. For Fujin, this actually sort of is a worry for him. The sort of claustrophobia and the treatment in the Arcane Brotherhood was probably very similar. Of there's a lock on the outside of the door rather than the inside because people are keeping someone prisoner, and this isn't a jail. This is a house. This is a suburban house, and so Fujin's worried that what everyone else was worried for, the lights upstairs, someone's in trouble, that maybe legitimately someone does need help now. That thought crosses his mind with sort of a panic of someone going through what he's gone through. I'm gonna try to thieves' tools to open it to see if there is someone like Fujin that's trapped inside.
Do you want a heroic inspo, John?
I won't say no.
Okay, give yourself that. I like the fact that you noticed that there was a lock on the outside of the room and how unusual that might be. You have your thieves' tools, I'd imagine, as part of your character as a rogue, yeah. And you have your proficiency. Imagine that'll take a little bit of time as you start doing that. Don't roll that one just yet. What are the rest of you all doing?
I'd follow Fujin.
Same.
I put the bones down and I say, guys, listen, before the ghosts jump out at you, the temperature of the room drops a lot. So just, if you feel that temperature drop, maybe stab somewhere.
Nice. All right, so...
and Bill's cleaning his blade on one of these cloths who are just there. And so, trusty leather opener. Never failed me this one.
Yeah, by the time you actually go to wipe your blade on the cloth, you notice that ectoplasmic cast off is gone. It's sort of dissipated, almost like boiling water. It's just blown away, dissipates into the air. All right, Fritz, you're stepping out into that room.
Yep. He's going to give Bright Eyes a pat, and Bill, because he noticed how brave Bill was.
Bill a pat.
He knows that Bill isn't used to this. He says, "Good job, you know."
Under the chin.
You really helped, mate. Like I could have been a goner in a British accent, which I can't do. I tried, and no, but yeah. So and he was Fujin. Or maybe it's terrible.
Maybe
Yeah.
you did a really good impression of Norman. Yeah, just do Norman voice.
Oh, Norman. Maybe he could speak like Norman Price.
Yeah, just do that. That's fun.
I like that. I like that a lot.
Really sticks with
I can
the
try.
theme too.
It totally does.
And you almost did set the house on fire too, so it really fits with your character. All right.
Oh, it really does. He's a little pyro. Anywho.
So yeah, he does that to William, and walks out. And then Tane starts to reach to give William a pat, and then thinks better of it and lowers his hand back down.
Okay. Fritz? No, not Fritz, the other guy. Fujin, would you like to roll that check now? Fritz, you step out into the hallway. You see Fujin, I imagine he's like down on his knees, sort of like thieves' tools out.
Dirty.
It's dirty.
25.
All right. Just a casual 25 on that lock
Fujin
picking
off the
check.
good rolls tonight, I tell ya.
I know,
Yeah.
right?
Finally.
It's
But
great.
he got a crit last week as well.
Yeah, but like 27, wasn't it before?
I was going to use the inspiration because I'm like, I may as well like try to chunk through them when I can, but don't even need it.
Don't even need it.
No, you do not.
Oh, humble brag.
We accept those. I don't
Being human with the new heroic inspiration, I'm figuring that we should try to use them frequently, but like, I'm just too good at this.
Slide the lockpick into place, the rake over the top, and very, very gently you start to like lever up the bolts for this lock. You can feel that they're very like stiff, and they actually, once you get the bolt in place, it sort of sticks there, and eventually you're able to, you hear like a click, the lockpick turns, and the padlock like releases. I imagine you like pull it off the door, toss it to the side, it lands with a dull thud on these mismatched floorboards, and dust dances up into the air where that padlock lands on the floor. You opening the door?
I'll probably hesitate for a moment. Usually Fujin so clearly attacking wolves, attacking baskets, attacking brooms, very eager to sort of sprint into combat, will very noticeably for Fritz and Thana in the hallway hesitate at the door handle, like not even touching it for a good 10 seconds before sort of shaking it slightly, his head side to side, and then we'll open the door and take a step in.
Opening the door, that sickly green light filters in through the crack through the door. Fujin, you step in, silhouetted by that light, and you enter into a 15 by 15 foot room. You can see that the twin windows in the northern wall are bricked up, and they're flanked by two dusty wood-framed beds, but smaller beds, like sized for children. Closer to the door on your right, as you step in, you can see there's a toy chest with all of these pastel-coloured windmills painted on its sides. And on your left, you can see there's a dollhouse. It seems to be a replica of the dreary edifice in which you stand. These furnishings are draped in cobwebs. Lying in the middle of the floor are two small skeletons wearing tattered but familiar-looking clothing. The smaller of the two is cradling a half-rotted stuffed doll that you also recognize from the family portrait in the upper hall, where you not long ago smashed all of those suits of armor. And in that painting, you remember seeing it being held by a young boy. You look around the room, and highlighted by that light, that green light, you can see what appears to be visible gouge marks crisscrossing the haphazardly throughout the room's wooden wall paneling. What do you do?
Probably nothing until someone sort of comes in and, I guess, bumps into him from behind, which I'm thinking
Thana will follow in.
wouldn't take too long.
Thana, you see the same thing. As you push past Fujin, you have to almost step over the top of these two tiny skeletons just in the middle of the room. One has its skeletal arm draped over the other has its arms wrapped around this almost fully decomposed stuffed toy. You can see some of the stuffing on the inside has spilled out onto the floor.
She sort of like kneels down and she looks conflicted, like really just kind of confused and just, as I said, like just completely conflicted. Like they're so young, but also, you know, death is a good thing, but at the same time that like they never really got to experience what life was. And so she's just kind of like, I think she's just sort of very, I don't think she knows what to think as she just sort of looks over these two skeletons.
Yeah. And again, in the room, you got the two skeletons, pair of beds, toy box, and a dollhouse, the bricked up windows. It was locked by a heavy iron padlock from the outside. Doesn't take too much.
Fujin's gonna get up, heading over to one of those windows, and is just going to begin to repeatedly punch them with his bare knuckles, attempting to bring some sunshine into the room.
Yeah. All right. You have to sort of step over one of these beds. We can roll some checks for that, I suppose. Find out how that sort of goes for you. What are the rest of you doing while Fujin just pounds on this wall?
Fritz would be completely enraged. He was mistreated as a child. He'd walk in after Thana and say, I'm going to kill the bastards. And he'd do a perception check because he doesn't want to burn his friends alive, but he wants to set everything in that room on fire.
But Norman's speaking to him.
It's Norman, yeah. So is there a check that I could do to see whether that would in fact lead the house to be on fire, or whether it's just better to just bash everything?
I don't need you to roll a check for this. You are confident with the cobwebs, the dry wood, that if you want to, and like especially with the, you know, the beds, you're confident that you would be able to set this room on fire, but once this room burns, the whole house is probably going to go with it.
Yep. Okay, well, so in that case, he'd just start slashing the beds. He'd be Fritz is usually pretty calm and collected, but he'd just sort of turn into a bit of an animal. You know, him and Bright Eyes share a lot of traits as well. They've sort of grown up together, and Bright Eyes would instinctively start doing the same because they're both being mistreated as cubs, and all they can see is cubs on the floor.
Okay.
So that'd be devastating.
So we got Fujin punching the wall. We got Fritz cutting away at the beds. Is that correct?
Yeah. Yeah.
The others?
Tane,
Like stabbing
Tane
them.
will hear combat and run into the room. And do an assessment and just be like, right, children, you guys all right? Like,
They were locked in
look
here.
around the room and, oh, sorry, are you guys all right? You okay there, Fujin?
They were locked in here.
Looks at the skeletons.
I'll actually I won't even point. I'll just look at the walls. As you see, like what Sven was explaining, those claw marks of like rats trapped in a cage.
Right, well, he moves to go pick up one of the bodies and then stops and looks at Thana and he's like, is this gonna like have a ghost reach out of my chest again if I go near him?
Thana is just absolutely wordlessly like cradling these two bodies in her arms.
Well,
Like
that's
she's
the thing as
not-
well for both of you. Just to put this in your mind, it's even worse. It's skeletons, right, DM?
Yeah.
So there's no body to hold. You'd just be holding a skull or a femur.
Yeah. If you reach down to try and pick up one of these bodies, like, it just falls apart in your hands and the clothes sort of crumble to dust and the skulls clatters down to the floor.
We'll probably need to bundle them up, bury them outside.
Tane,
Is
Yeah,
the teddy bear intact?
I give Thana a bit of a pat on the shoulder as she's dealing with that. And I'm going to turn. And did you say there was a dollhouse that looked like the house?
That is correct. So, Tane, if you're standing in the doorway looking in, just to your left, yes, there is a large dollhouse. Very detailed. It's got cobwebs draped all over it, so it's kind of hard to make out, what's going on inside the dollhouse, but it appears to be an exact replica of the house that you're in.
Yeah, so am I able to look at the room we're in now? Like, is it that detailed? Like, are we going to be in it? Is this something where I can move myself? Like,
Yeah, man.
are we in the Matrix? Is this a thing?
Voodoo dollhouse.
Yeah, can I have a look at the room we're in now?
All right, so I'm going to move you just to
If
this
that's
spot over
possible.
here.
Is that a thing?
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Tell me if it's just a block, because I sound like an idiot, but I'm just like... The fact it's so detailed does make me go, God, what if it's a cursed, like, ghost house that I can see myself? And I see myself looking inside the dollhouse. Tiny one.
Step into the room. You see that dollhouse on your left. It's 4 stories. Well,
Is there a
the
horse
three
out the front?
3 stories with the attic. There's no horse out the front, but you reach down and you brush away some of those cobwebs. It's like a dollhouse that the front is like closed off, but then like the whole one of the sides is gone, and you can see like the whole layout of the house, room by room. And you brush away the cobwebs, and you notice a couple of things. The rooms are empty. They got little bits of furniture everywhere. You don't see any dolls, except for in the room that you're currently in. You can see 2 dolls in the corner of the room. And as you reach in to sort of touch one of the dolls, you hear a tiny little voice coming from the corner of the room where those 2 little dolls were in the dollhouse, but in the actual room that you're in at the moment. You can hear the delicate sound of a young girl's voice, and she says, "Please don't touch that." As you look up and look towards the corner of the room, and you see 2 figures standing there in the darkness. And they sort of step out. You can see there's a young girl and a young boy holding hands. They're dressed in old-fashioned, yet obviously high-end Victorian-esque clothing. Drab, but clearly tailored. And all three of you didn't see them as you entered into the room. You can see that the young boy is clutching a stuffed bear that's an exact replica of the one cradled in the arms of the skeleton on the floor, except this one is brand new looking. Yes, Gemma.
I was going to say Fritz, before this had happened, was starting to piece together the letter, but he's not very smart, so he doesn't remember, but he remembers there were names. So I'm wondering if there's a check he could do to see if he could try and remember names, because there were from 2 kids mentioned and a baby, I think.
Okay, I'll let you roll a quick history check. The DC will be rather low because while this was it didn't happen very long ago, you have been through 3 separate combats in the meantime. So
yeah, it's 8 because I had -2, so it's
8.
pretty bad. Yeah.
Yeah, you're something. I mean, you remember seeing the paintings and the halls downstairs. Do you remember something, like there's something in the back of your head, like, oh, was there something, did someone say something about children or anything like that? But you're not quite recalling it at this point, just because of the adrenaline, especially from that combat that was like really only a minute ago.
I've just been smashing this room as well.
Can I put my sword away and I'm going to quickly grab out of my pack a lamp and light it up. And the whole time I'm sort of staring at them. But I hold it up and I'm just like, William, do you have those deeds on you?
And Bill would go forward and would also go, Tane, remember we saw a shadow and we've only dealt with the light so far. We're still on the lookout. And he'll pull out from his coat pocket the deed and step in and hand it to Tane.
So
and they go, whoa!
Yeah, sorry. And can I... And I'm like, quickly look at the deed, because I believe the deed had the names of the children on it.
It does, yeah.
Which was Rosavelda.
Rosavelda? Yeah.
Durst, yeah.
Durst, yeah.
Yep.
And you say, hey kids, it's your Uncle Tane.
And the young boy is like clutching the girl's arm. She looks to be a little bit older than the boy is, and he's like clutching onto her arm and sort of tries to scoot behind her a little bit like a shy child. And
oh, sorry, you go.
No, you're right. I'm like, don't be scared. That's just the shape of my face. And I look to the humans for help. The 6-foot boy doesn't want to scare them.
Thana sort of steps up and she walks up to the children. She's like, Greetings, children. My name is Thana. What is your name? She says gently.
as you step into the room, well, you're already in the room because you said so, but as the little boy sort of notices you, he points at you and he takes a step back behind the girl and he says, look, I said there was a monster in the basement. It's the monster. And the little girl turns back to the boy and says, shh, Thornbolt, I told you there's no monster in the basement and you're being rude. They know who we are. They must have been friends of Mama and Papa. She turns back towards you and she indicates your horns, and she says, oh, these are very pretty. Are they real?
Yeah, Thana sort of reaches up, touching, because they're ram's horns, so they sort of wrap around, sort of reaches up, touching them. She's got lots of little shiny, dangly things hanging off them. It's like, oh, yeah, no, they're real. Yeah, I'm a tiefling. So they're kind of part and parcel. Do you want to see something cool?
A tiefling?
Yes, a tiefling.
Oh. Are you friends with Mama and Papa? I've seen them wearing masks that have horns on them before. That was a long time ago.
Oh. She sort of thinks, but shakes her head. She's like, "No, I'm so sorry. I'm not friends with your Mama and Papa."
Well then, why are you here?
You know Aragorn by chance?
No? That's not a name I'm familiar with. Thornbolt, stop being rude. Say hello to the nice people. And the little boy sort of shuffles out. He says, the girl says, he gives you a very shy wave, and she's like, I'm so sorry. You mustn't mind him. He's just scared all the time. My name is Rosafelda, and this is Thornbolt Durst. Pleasure to meet you. And the girl sort of dips down into this dainty curtsy, and the boy sort of waves with one hand. And she's like, and what are your names?
Well, my name is Thana, and this is Tane, and Fujin, and Fritz, and every time, and Bill. And we are not here to hurt you. We're here to be your friends. We're friends, she says, gently sort of extending a hand in like a placating kind of gesture.
And she sort of mimics her gesture, and she says, it's very nice to meet you, Thana. Say, would you like to play?
Thana sort of looks at Fujin and Fritz and Tane and Bill, and is like, well, I don't see why not. I suppose we have time for a game, do we not? And she sort of
It would be rude to say no. It is their house.
Yeah.
To interject with the cut-ins with Fujin, Fujin has sort of zoned out since he started punching the walls. He's still continuing to do that and hasn't realized what's happening.
Yeah. Okay.
Continue the conversation, but yeah, I'm still sort of just like zoned out, trying to open the window.
Makes sense. Thank you for the raid. Let's roll for dragons. Good to see you. This is Beckoned Blackest Night, which is our Curse of Strahd actual play. By the way, Gareth, if you're watching, if you're here, I still have to send you a message. We're going to catch up when I get down to Melbourne. Please continue. The little girl starts to lead you over towards like where the dollhouse is. And she's like, what would you like to play? We can play Tea Party. I have dolls, or I know, would you like to dance?
Oh, I do like to dance. Yes, a dance would be delightful.
William. Just really quietly, I'm just like moving William away a bit. I'm just like, William, that's and I sort of just nod my head towards the skeletons, and then nod my head towards the kids.
Thana looks at Tane incredulously, like absolutely furious.
I'm doing very stealthily over in the corner away from everyone. I'm nodding to William. William, confirm that I'm not crazy.
It is curious, but the will does state it does pass to them upon their parents' death. It doesn't say anything about their deaths.
Thana sort of says, as she continues dancing with the little girl, if I hear one more person say the DEA word, I am going to get quite furious. she says.
D-E-E-D.
And the little girl turns back towards the two of you, Tane, Bill, and she's like, shh, we're dancing. And she tries to lead you through this routine of like a courtroom dance. So then she's like very specific. You have to like step towards each other, like curtsy, and then take each other's hand and start to dance around. And like she's very specific about all of this. And the young boy is just like in the corner, just like clutching his doll and just like looking at the rest of you. I imagine he's probably like looking at you, Tane, like specifically like with big wide eyes.
As in invitation to dance wise, or
No, just looking at you.
wide eyes, happy wide eyes.
Like with he's shy, and like you're wearing chainmail armor. You've got a long sword and a shield on your back. Like he's looking at that like it's the coolest. Like it's cool, but he's too shy to say or do anything.
Oh, all right. Well, hey, how you doing, you little bugger? Now hold the lamp up.
Hi.
Thornbolt, was it? It's a good, strong name.
Yes.
Obviously, that's your sister. What do you do around here?
Have you killed lots of things with that sword?
Couple. There was actually just a ghost of like some sort of servant or maid or something, and attacked us, and I blocked it with a shield. And this one over, and I point at Fritz.
Mm-hmm.
This one over here, like stabbed it with a short sword.
And as you start
Really
to
bloody cool.
As you start to like launch into this explanation, details about like your battle, he jumps down not jumps down, but he gets out of the corner and he turns back towards the toy box and he opens it up and pulls out a couple of like little wooden swords and he's like, will you play with me?
Listen, we're hard working and who am I kidding? All right. I shrug and I go into a bit of a mock sword battle with the young lad.
Mm-hmm. And he's riveted. So having so much fun. You're wearing armor. Like he swings at you as hard as he can, and he's having like the time of his life. And we'll go back. Well, time of his life? Question mark. We'll go back to you. Yeah, you knock him the fuck out. No, Thana, what do you do while she's like, and she wants to do this dance like over and over and over again. She's like, she really is like wanting to teach you how to do this dance properly.
Thana, she's like more than happy just to comply. Like she will seriously, she just sort of like continues to do the dance, completely unbothered by the fact that she's repeating it over and over. And she sort of like, I think she's just, as she's doing it, looking at Fujin, who's just pounding at the window, and she turns to Fritz and she's like, do you maybe want to, I don't know, just tap him on the shoulder, maybe? Offer some kind words. Yeah,
so Fritz was already getting a bit confused because Thana's reaction to anything dead or undead has never been this calm. And then he's seeing his friend Fujin over there bashing a wall, which he understands. So he tries to get his attention and tries to say, look, is everything okay? Is Thana okay? Because this is out of character. It's a lot for Fritz. So I'm not sure what Fujin would do. Would he keep going?
I think after, like, if you can ask like one or two more times, it would grab Fujin's attention. His mind, as he'd started punching, had drifted to memories of a small room, very similar dust methods that would be sent in one after another as a forms of punishment for befalling a creature as gracious as the djinn for wind mages, and so the thoughts of being locked in, no way to escape. The least he can do for those two skeletons is to bring some fresh air, some sunlight. That's all he wanted: fresh air, sunlight, fighting the dust methods, and this sort of like circus spiral of it happening. And will eventually sort of stop as you speak a second time. Sorry. What? Thana? I'll sort of turn over my shoulder. Are we... We're not attacking these ghosts, I take it.
Thana continues to dance with the little girl as she sort of speaks. So it's a bit hard to explain. I suppose the thing that we attacked out in the hallway, and she spins the little girl, is very, 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 very different to these ones. You see, the thing that we attacked out in the hallway is born of rage. It doesn't really have a soul. These guys are trapped here, so we can help them pass on. We can talk to them and, lay them to rest properly. Whereas that thing out in the hallway, the only way to deal with it was to kill it. I can't bear to kill these ones.
And the little girl looks up at you and she's like, no, you're not doing it right. You have to dip with the heels, not with the knees. Dip with the heels, not with the knees. And she begins to dance and she says to you, and she's like, the other thing out in the hallway, what are you talking about?
Oh, absolutely nothing, dear one. Pay it no mind. Show me how you did that again. And she sort of watches the little girl.
Dip with the heels, not with the knees. And she shows you again, and she's like, if you're not friends with Mama and Papa, then pray tell, why are you here? Certainly you didn't come here just to play with us.
Well, have you ever had to make a very difficult choice, Rosabelle?
Difficult choice.
Difficult choice.
And as you say that, she's like spinning around and she like stops. And her expression just goes blank. And you watch her eyes as they drift over towards Thornbolt, as he's playing with a wooden sword with Tane in the corner. She's like, yes, I suppose I have.
Thana sort of sees the recognition in her eyes, and she's like, what I'm about to tell you is a very grown-up thing. Do you think you can be grown up?
She looks up towards you, her eyes go wide, and she nods.
Okay. Well, sometimes bad things happen to very good people who don't deserve it, and they get stuck in a place that isn't a happy place. This place that you are now, it's not a happy place, is it? She says to Rosabelle.
It used to be.
What would it mean if I could tell you that there's a better place than this? A place where this place doesn't hurt anymore?
She looks thoughtful for a moment. She looks away. And then a small smile starts to creep across her face as she looks back up towards you. And she says, you're not the first, you know.
And Thana sort of looks at her. She's like, I'm sure you've had lots of other friends come up here and try to help you. Is that what you mean?
Yes. Sometimes they try to hurt us. Sometimes they just ignore us, and sometimes they promise they're going to help. But it always ends the same.
Okay. Well,
He killed me. With a wooden sword between his arm in the background.
Thana sort of laughs at the display and she turns back and she's like, how about this? How about no promises, but how about I help you let go?
Before that, girl, what do these others promise to help with exactly?
She's confused. It's almost like she's struggling with two different realities at the same time. And she looks over towards you, confusion in her eyes, and then she concentrates. She says, sometimes they say they're here to help, to get rid of the haunting in the house. Sometimes they say they're going to help us, put us to rest. They leave. They always leave, and they never come back. You're not going to leave, are you?
Thana, she extends a hand. She's like, goodness, no. See, I'm a very special kind of cleric. Do you know what a cleric is?
No.
No.
And the little boy pipes out.
Well-
He's like, what's a cleric?
Well,
Don't
little
fucking
one.
hard.
Essentially, a cleric is like a priest. So we have special powers that we get given by a magical, that give us unique powers to help people. And
God, is that like the man in the black chariot? Says the little boy.
she sort of like looks, she sort of thinks, and she can't really think of a god that she'd ever heard driving a black chariot, and she's, well, I suppose, but look, what I do is I help people like you. It's my calling. It's what I was born to do. It's what I was raised to do. And I wager you haven't met a cleric like me before, have you?
No, not a cleric like you. Do you mean maybe like the priest? Do you say your
Yes.
prayers every night to the Morning Lord as well?
I worship a god called Hades. No, I haven't heard of this Morning Lord.
Well, he is the only one true god, and he is the Morning Lord. I've never heard of a man called Hades. Tell her about the man in the black chariot, says the little boy. And the girl's like, shush. Tell her about the monster in the basement. Be quiet, Thornbolt. We're having an adult conversation. Go back to playing with your toys. And the little boy, with a humph, goes back into the corner and pouts. And the girl looks back towards you. And she's like, I don't know why, but for some reason I feel like you actually mean it. Maybe
Have
you
you
are
ever
here
been
to-
on a swing? Thana asks.
Sorry?
Have you ever been on a swing?
No, I haven't been on a swing. I don't know what that
You've
is.
never been on a swing? Well, it's a piece of wood attached to a couple of strings, and you sort of sway back and forth, and you go through the air. I had an analogy, but you've never been on a swing before, so it's making an exception.
No, I've never been on a swing before.
No,
It's not something that I'm
okay.
familiar. I don't even know what it is, to be absolutely honest with you. As you can see, there's probably no playgrounds around here.
Didn't think about that.
Well, hang on a second. So he doesn't know what a swing, but he knows what a playground is.
Playground
Yes.
is.
All right.
You worship the morning lord, yet this room has
Blinds
no
only.
sunlight.
Yes, that's right.
As Fujin's going to pull out his crowbar double time now and want to try to open that window for them. Hopefully
Okay.
that might help them move on.
Are
Yeah.
you talking of Lathander? She says, sort of like listing off gods at this point that have to do with sun.
I've never heard of the word Lathander before, but my mom and papa said we always used to have to say our prayers to the morning lord. And so we did every single night. And no, it's been a long time since there's been any light in this room. I didn't notice up until now. When you said it, it's been dark. It's been dark here. And cold. And lonely. You see, when the man in the black chariot arrived, Papa said he couldn't have us ruining things for him. So Mama brought us up here. And it's almost like she's remembering for the first time as she's saying this. And a single tear starts to roll down her cheek. There's a long pause. She continues. By the time the candles burnt out, and the light of the morning lord had all but faded away, we were already so hungry. It was dark, cold, and lonely. And then at some point, when we couldn't stand anymore, poor Thorn had no more tears left to cry. And she looks back towards the young boy in the corner, pouting. He buries his head in his arms. At some point, we stopped feeling hungry. At some point, we stopped feeling much of anything at all. And we forgot what the sunlight looked like. Do you really want to help us?
Thana nods, like,
And the boy takes his head out of his arms and they both look at you at the same time. The answer is in the basement. If you're going to help us, you're going to have to go down to the basement. And we'll see you next week.
oh, Sven!
Damn it, Sven. Did Fujin get through the window?
Fujin did
Yeah,
get through the window. As we
Yay!
end tonight's
We all
episode,
level.
we see a tiny little sliver of that dull, dim daylight start to pierce through a tiny little crack that Fujin had made in the mortar of the wall. And we'll be back again next week, 8:30 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time for episode 7 of Beckoned Blackest Night